Welcome to Izzo Math. What is Izzo? Well, today vectors is what is Izzo. We're going to begin talking about vectors. So let's do that. A vector is a measurement that has a magnitude and a direction. So it has a magnitude and a direction. If we talk about speed, speed is something that's just a scalar. It's someone's speed, like a car is speeding. Speed is just 50 miles per hour. It has no direction. Okay? Now, velocity is going to be a vector. Velocity, you would say 50 miles per hour, say northwest or northeast. Velocity actually has a magnitude and a direction. And one important thing to note here is that, I don't know, let's say we have a highway over here. In that highway we have a car that's traveling 50 miles per hour north. So 50 miles per hour north. Okay? And say over here, a few miles over, let's say 2 miles over, there's another highway. And we have another car that's traveling 50 miles per hour north. These two have this. These vectors are the same. Vectors actually have no position. That is, and if you want to think about it, the force in the north direction. For those of you who's going to be doing physics, so the force in the north direction is the same. That is, if this car over here impacted another car, say there was an accident, it would have the same force on that car as this car over here driving 50 miles per hour in the north direction. So their magnitude and their direction are the same, so they are called equivalent vectors. So if we look over here at our picture, we see this vector here, that vector u, and this vector u. That's why they're called the same thing, u, because they're equivalent. Even though they're in different positions, this one starts at that point and this one starts at that point. Even though they're at different positions, they're equivalent. Okay? Equivalent vectors. Now, this vector w would be called parallel to u, but it's not the same because its magnitude, the magnitude is simply the length here. We're looking at it like it's going to be the length of the vector. Its magnitude is different. Its direction is the same as u, but it has a different magnitude, but this would be called parallel to u. Okay? And the vector v here clearly, this vector v clearly has a different direction than u and w. So it's definitely not equivalent to those vectors. Okay? So let's talk about how to find a magnitude of a vector. Here we have these two vectors u and v, and let's say the vector u here is starting at the point over 1 up 1 2 3. It's initial. It starts at 1 3 and it ends at over 1 2 3 up 1 2 3 4 5. And here we have this vector v. Its initial point is going to be over 1 2 3 4, over 4, and up 2. And then its ending point there is over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 5 and up 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's find the magnitude, the actual length of this vector u, and we're going to denote that with the absolute value notation. If I say the absolute value of u, let me do a different color here. So let's go down here. The absolute value of u equals, and if you look here, it's simply going to be Pythagorean theorem, just our distance formula. So it's going to be the square root of, so this side here is going to be a length of what? So we go 1, 2, and this side here is going to be a length of 2. So the Pythagorean theorem would give us that the length of this thing would give us that u squared equals 2 squared plus 2 squared, so that u equals the square root of 2 squared plus 2 squared. Give us the magnitude of u equals square root of 2 squared, square root of 8. Okay, and this, the direction, if we look at it, this thing is traveling, we would need this angle here. And so if this is over 2 and that's up 2, we know that's going to be pi over 4. And if we wanted to get it, we would just say the tangent of theta equals 2 over 2, so equals 1, so theta equals pi over 4. Okay? Now let's do the other one. Let's do the vector v here. Let's do that one in green. So here we had a, well, let's just do it. So let's find the magnitude of v. Magnitude is just going to be using the Pythagorean theorem on this triangle. So I believe that's going to be over 1, that's going to be 2, that's going to be 2. So magnitude of v, Pythagorean theorem would give us that it is square root of 2 squared plus 2 squared. Magnitude of v equals square root of 8. And again, if we wanted to find the direction, we'd need to find this angle theta here, and we'd just using that triangle, we'd say that tangent theta equals 2 over 2, which equals 1, and that theta equals pi over 4. So again, we see here we have two equivalent vectors. I have the magnitude of 8, a magnitude of the square root of 8, and we have that the direction is in 45 degrees, or pi over 4, or we would say northeast. Okay? And let's end it there, and I will make another video talking about how we add vectors and the dot product and such. Alright, I'll see you then.